Hi, this is Theo from pocketblocks.com. Today I want to talk about sketching in loose sheets like this versus sketching in a sketchbook. I have friends who only use loose sheets, and then I have other friends who only use sketchbook. I belong to the camp that is in between. I use sometimes the sketchbook and sometimes the loose sheets. Also, although recently I begin to use sketchbook more exclusively, but I'll talk about the reason why. I also talk about the reasons why some of my friends they only use loose sheets. So let me talk about the main advantages of using sheets like this first. You get to choose the paper quality that you can use. So with sheets like this, you have a wider variety of paper choices than you would from a sketchbook like this. So for example, you want to get, you can use premium watercolor paper from Arches, Fabriano, Saunders. These manufacturers, they do not use premium grade watercolor paper, those 300 GSM paper to create sketchbooks. So out there in the market, it's very difficult to find 100% cotton, 300 GSM paper, watercolor paper that are used in sketchbook. So that's one of the main reasons why you will want to use a loose sheet like this. Second reason is you can get to choose the size of the canvas. So obviously this is a medium size sketch. I think it's about 9 by 12, but for sheets like this you can even go up to A3. This is pretty huge for a sketchbook. If you are going to use this like a sketchbook, this is going to be very heavy. So the largest sketchbook I think I've seen in this size is from Moleskine. They have the A3 watercolor sketchbook, and it is very heavy and well bulky. So but you can go even larger, like the full sheets of watercolor paper, which measures about 30 inches by 22 inches. So that is even larger. So that's one of the advantages of loose sheet. You can go very big. One reason why some of my friends they only use loose sheets is because they want to sell the sketches in the future. I mean, when you're sketching now in a sketchbook, you might not think about the future, but there may come a time when you actually want to sell your sketches. So with a sketchbook, you would actually have to cut out the pages, and that can be quite painful to the heart. But with loose sheets, you can do so easily. So many of those artists who like to draw on loose sheets, they think about the future, especially about selling their artworks in the future. So it's very difficult to sell a sketchbook, a piece of art from your sketchbook, and when you take out that piece of art from the sketchbook does not feel complete anymore. So I think the most important reason is for using loose sheet is you can get to sell your art in the future. So for example, if I want to sell some of my sketches, I can do so, but I do not sell my sketches because I like to admire them myself. That is why recently I started to use a sketchbook more often. But I can also tell that if you are using loose sheets, personally I feel that the artwork looks a bit better, and you also have the option to choose from when you want to frame it up in the future. So if I want to frame this sketch that I drew in Malacca, Malaysia, I can do so. Also, if you make a lousy drawing, you can just toss away the artwork. But for me, even for lousy artworks, I still keep them as a reminder of how I can improve on them in the future. So I know some artists, when they draw a lousy piece of work, in their own opinion, they would just throw it away. So that's one thing about loose sheets. So let's talk about another thing. This is in regards to cataloging. I find that if I draw sketches like this, I do not refer to them as often as I would refer to my sketchbooks. So for this sketches, I actually put them in this plastic bag so as to keep out the moisture. I live in Singapore, and the humidity can actually be quite harmful to the paper. So I put them in this Ziploc bag with some dry bags or something to absorb the moisture. And after I put them into this bag, I find that I do not take them out as often to look at them. So that's one thing to take note of if you want to use predominantly loose sheets. Let's get on with the sketchbooks. Currently I use a lot of sketchbook. In fact, I was just back from Australia on a 10-day trip where I brought along this 40-page sketchbook. I got this one specially bound with Fabriano Artistico paper, which is 100% cotton. So you can get 100% cotton watercolor paper, premium grade paper inside sketchbook, but you will have to buy them yourself. And the sketchbook out there in the market, there are a lot of variety as well, some very good quality, but when it comes to really premium quality, it's very difficult to find, which is why I had this sketchbook custom made. So one of the main advantages of why I like sketchbooks so much is because you can create a series out of sketchbooks. For example, I have my travelogue series. This one is for Australia. I have one book for Barcelona, one book for Bali, for Bangkok. So every time I want to recollect, I want to remember what it is like, what happened during those trips, I have a very handy companion to look at. So that would be my sketchbook. It is a recollection of all the sketches I've drawn in chronological order, and I find that it is very useful and it is very fun to just look back at the sketches this way. So this is in book form. One thing that I do not like about sketchbook is the gutter, because you would have to draw, if you are drawing on if you want a wider landscape to draw on, if you want to draw a wide landscape for example, you would have to draw across the gutter, and when you scan the image, the gutter is going to show up, and sometimes, actually most of the time, it does not look very good. When it's in a sketchbook form like this, when you are looking at a sketchbook like this, it looks very good. But when you scan all these images out, especially the double page spreads, the gutter is very distracting, especially if you publish a series of sketches with the gutter there. So that is something that I do not like about sketchbook. So nowadays I try to draw on single pages and not cross the gutter. Another good advantage, or maybe a good thing about sketchbook is they are easy to refer to. So I usually put my sketchbook on the shelf, and once in a while, if I want to take them out to look at them, I can do so very easily as compared to my loose sheets. Even though I arrange them in a chronological manner, but it's still much more convenient to have them grouped together in a series of sketches in a sketchbook like this. So that's what I like about the sketchbook. Also, a sketchbook is good when you want to check on your own progress. This is a sketchbook that I used many years ago. Let me see. This is in 2012, so this is about 4 years ago. So back then I was still using black and white sketches. I was doing black and white predominantly, and when I look back, I can see the evolution of how my sketches have evolved since then. This is a series. Sometimes you can even see how it evolved in a single sketchbook, especially if you use that sketchbook for a longer period of time. I take about usually 6 months to 1 year to complete a sketchbook. So sometimes you can see a change in style and stuff like that. But this is created in 2012, so back then I was using only black and white. And fast forward to 2015, sorry, this year, you can see that I have moved on to using predominantly a lot of watercolor. Actually, this is a watercolor sketchbook with only watercolor sketches. There's only one black and white ink sketch here. So I can also look and compare my style now versus 3 years ago in 2012, and how it has evolved and what are the changes that I've made to my own sketches, my change in style and something like that. So Sketchbook is very useful for that reason, because you can keep track of your progress very nicely. And also, even for lousy sketches in your sketchbook, unless you tear the page away, which I feel that you should not do it, I mean, just it's very helpful because to keep even your lousy, so-called lousy sketches, because when you look back at them, you can learn more from the lousy, so-called lousy sketches rather than from the better ones. You definitely learn much more from the so-called lousy sketches. When I say so-called, it's because many people like to think that their sketches are lousy or stuff like that. There's no good or bad sketch really. And I know of one artist, if he does not like the sketch, he would actually use some glue and tape up the pages and stick the pages together so that no one else can see it. So that's something you can do too if you really do not want people to see your sketchbook. But sketchbooks like this are pretty nice. You can share them easily with your friends as well. I usually bring them around, especially if someone wants to see my sketchbook, I can bring them easily around. These are very compact and portable. And also, when it comes to using your work for publication in the future, sketchbooks might not be, you have to think ahead. So for loose sheet, definitely there's not going to be any problem. You just scan, just do some light editing, and you can use them for future publication, especially when you want to publish a book of your own sketches. This book, for example, is by Lapan from Barcelona. He's a sketcher and illustrator there. So he likes to draw in those accounting books. So you have all these accounting lines. What I want to say is that he draws predominantly on single pages. So all these sketchbooks are drawn on single pages. He seldom draws across the gutter. So when it comes to reproducing sketches, you can see the sketch in its entirety and there's no distracting gutter. Although sometimes he does draw on double pages. Let me try and find a sketch that goes across 2 pages. Yep. So this is a sketch that goes across 2 pages, and he has carefully and cleverly put the gutter to coincide with the gutter of this particular book. So you do not get to see the gutter, and I think that is quite smart to do so. But otherwise, he usually just draws on a single page. Let me show you another example. This is a book by Matthias Adolfsson. He's a very popular illustrator. So this is his book called The First in Line. This is a book of illustrations that are made predominantly in his Moleskine sketchbook. So let me just show you. So you can see that the illustrations, I really love the illustrations, but you can see that because he draws in a Moleskine sketchbook and he likes to draw across the gutter, when it reproduces, when he scans the illustrations and reproduce in a sketchbook like this, you are going to see distracting gutter lines. And this happens for many of his sketches. I mean, the artwork is awesome, it's terrific, but I do find that the gutter is a bit distracting. I mean, for illustrations like this, these are like loose single page illustrations, they are perfectly fine, but for his larger pieces where he draws across the gutter, I find the gutter a bit distracting. The drawings would definitely look much better if he were to use a larger Moleskine sketchbook, like the A4 size sketchbook, and not draw across the gutter. So that's it. If you want to publish your own sketches in the future, that's something to take note of. Try not to draw across the gutter, and that is also one of the main reasons why I also started drawing on single pages rather than on double pages. if I can help it, I will draw on a single page, because when I scan it and I put it online, the image will also appear bigger, rather than if I draw it on a double page spread. When I scan it online, because of the page width of the block, the scanned image will appear to be very thin horizontally. I think I covered pretty much everything I want to say about loose sheets versus sketchbooks. If you have any questions, feel free to ask me in the comment section below. I would also love to find out whether you prefer to draw on single sheets like this, or you draw only on sketchbook. That will be interesting to find out. And also tell me the reasons why you prefer one versus the other. That's all for today's video. If you like it, share it with your friends. If you have not subscribed to my YouTube channel, do so, because I have a lot of sketching tips, techniques, sketchbook reviews, and art product reviews for you. So subscribe. Thanks for watching and have a nice day. See you next time.